Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome back, it's me, I'm Grant, and you're my team. There was a trailer for Fire Emblem Warriors, Three Hopes, and I've lost 4 days of sleep analysing this. I'm literally looking at it right now, and I want to do a deep dive and an analysis and a scene-by-scene, line-for-line commentary on this game on this trailer, because I'm someone who has put more than 700 hours into Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's my absolute favourite game in the franchise. I love the cast, I love the characters, I love the setting, I love the lore, I love the world building, I love the plots. Even Silver Snow. No shade. Even if it did suck, I still love it. So we're going to jump straight into this trailer, and I really just want to dissect everything and tell you opinions, far-reaching theories, speculation, inconsistencies, all that and more. So we're going to just jump straight in. Yay! I'm going to click play. Pause. Okay, just behind the soldier, you'll see that the Crestaceros banner is hung from the structures, so you can sense that this is absolutely happening at Garreg this particular clash that we're opening up with, and everybody's obviously clad in red because, you know, Adrestian soldiers. Yay! So this must be, if I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and get 5, this must be the part where, you know, chapter 12 happens in the story, and I'm hoping that you coming into this chat are well aware of the plot of Three Houses, because I'm going to sound like a crazy person, because I'm going to go into like full-on spoiler territory with this. This is the part where Edelgard has begun her attack on... oh god, I can't. Okay. Pausing again. Okay, more Adrestian soldiers. We shift over to this guy that's a paladin. Fargus Paladin. The background is very red. This is either set at sunset or it's ALL, the Valley of Torment. And I'm just noticing that now. Okay, Flower with the guy, Flower gets stomped on, the entire thing goes blue. It's almost like life is being snuffed out and it's like a visual representation of murder, but I don't know what the flower is. To me, it just looks like a dead daisy now. It is what it is. I don't know enough about flowers to be able to tell you, oh, well, this is the meaning of this particular flower. So, because that's all far beyond me. That's far beyond me. I'm here for story, I'm here for characters, I'm here for speculation. Three Hopes. Title. Garreg Mach.
The cycle of this world, I will not allow it to perish with you.
Pause. The cycle of this world, I will not allow it to perish with you. First of all, that is a voice of a character who we have not had the pleasure of meeting in the entirety of the canon of Three Houses. That, to me, makes me think that this is a new character that's coming into this game, and that is absolutely one of two people. It's either Purple Boy, it's a very feminine voice, it can't possibly be Purple Boy then, unless you have, you know, a very feminine man. So I think it's Purple Boy's god. I think it's Purple Boy's god, who we see at the very end on the box art of this trailer. So, let's just carry on. The cycle of this world, I will not allow it to perish with you. Let me just melt your mind for a second with some speculation. Okay, what is a cycle? It is something that has no beginning, no ending. Okay, the cycle of this world, I will not allow it to perish with you. So, this god is not going to let the cycle, the thing that has no beginning or ending, perish with you. I'm assuming that they're talking to Byleth, but then why would they have the capability to talk? Why would they have the capability of talking to Byleth? It would make more sense narratively if they were talking to Purple Boy. And I'm just thinking to myself, but if they were talking to Byleth, and it's a cycle, and it has no beginning or end, then that means that the history of Fodlan is a constant. Everything is fixed, everything is in a loop. Which would mean to me, and this is a far reach, this is a Stretch Armstrong style reach, Byleth's seen some shit. Byleth might have seen 4 timelines worth of shit. Byleth might have seen Silver Snow, Crimson Flower, Azure Moon, and Verdant Wind. Byleth might have seen them all because the cycle of the world is Byleth having gone through the different timelines. How sick would that be to make New Game Plus canon? How sick would it be to make New Game Plus canon and that this would be the 5th time that Violet's reliving this? How sick would that be? Okay, so, crazy theory 1. This is New Game Plus. Crazy theory 2. This is the 5th timeline of events in which everybody's gonna be, you know, united against a bigger threat. Okay, cool. So, the cycle of this world, I will not allow it to perish with you. Let me rewind a little bit. Byleth, the eye. The last time we zoomed into Violet's eye was Crimson Flower at the very end, where she regained the humanity. I'm going to be referring to Byleth as she, her throughout this, because we see female Byleth throughout this trailer. That does not mean that we might not get to play as male Byleth. It's just that female Byleth, I feel, was the one that was presented for this trailer because of the fact that female Byleth came second in Choose Your Legend 6. She was the more popular Byleth. That's all that means. Okay, cool. Edelgard, pause. Do you see the handles? You see how she's gripping that axe? Yeah? This is a silver axe. I went through the art book that I've got, because I've got the Three Houses Collector's Edition. I want the limited edition for this game, oh my god. And I cross-referenced it with the weapons that we have on the Fire Emblem wiki. I say we as if I'm part of it, I'm not. I'm sorry, but it's definitely the silver axe that she's got here. This is also pre-time skip Edelgard, so this is absolutely chapter 12 or before Edelgard. Yay! Hi girly, how you doing? It's nice to see you again. Again, we see, oh, here, this pisses me off, okay, right. Here she is, destroying so many enemies, like absolute girl boss, but look at her weapon. Do you see my problem with this? Let me explain to you my problem with this. Okay, this axe is different. That's not the problem. We've gone from the silver axe to the axe of Ukonvasara. And we can tell that it's the axe of Ukonvasara because of the fact that the axe of Ukonvasara is the only sacred axe in the entirety of Fire Emblem Three Houses. But that's not a problem, right? Surely, her having a specific axe is not a problem, right? Well, this is the thing. You see, on the artwork, you can see that this axe has the crest of Seiros in it, but mechanically, in Three Houses canon, the axe of Ukonvasara resonates more with people who have the crest of Gloucester, so that's Lawrence and Lysithea. Because Lysithea, as we know, has 2 crests, and Lawrence is Lawrence Helm and Gloucester. You know, holder of the crest of Gloucester. Yay, whatever. Anyways, so why does she have an axe that's a sacred weapon that, by the way, you cannot get in her route? Oh yeah, the axe of Ukonvasara you get from the southeastern chest in chapter 13 of the Blue Lions, the Silver Snow, and the Golden Deer routes. You cannot get it on Edelgard's route, Crimson Flower. You cannot get it on her route, so why does she have this axe that is not hers, and why does the axe have the crest of Seiros on it? I hate continuity errors with a burning passion. Let us carry on, because this is only the beginning of my insanity. Mechanically, we can see as well HP bars, we can see the A button bars for the big specials, that obviously you're going to kill enemies, you're going to build that up, you're going to be able to do super powerful attacks, it's going to be great. And if you have a look on the very far left side, on the bottom left corner where you've got Edelgard's portrait, you can see there's a very small meter as well. This is probably most likely going to be for like the Awakening Gauge. I'm going to call it the Awakening Gauge just because that's what it was called in Fire Emblem Warriors. I love that game. Oh my god, yes! Let's play when? Right, so here she is doing her move. Pause, because here we have the next scene. Now, here she is, looking all confident and smug, but she's talking to Purple Boy. This is absolutely Purple Boy, because there are 3 people in Fire Emblem Three Houses that have purple hair, and he's wearing a student uniform. We can tell that this is a boy, because ain't no girl got that jawline and pulling it off successfully in this canon, okay? So this is either Yuri, that hair is too blue for Yuri, there's no way. This is either Lawrence, that hair is nowhere near as goose-like for him. That is a running joke through our Fire Emblem Three Houses Let's Play. Lawrence is a goose. And this, by extension then, has to be Purple Boy. So Purple Boy is a new student in this timeline. Or Purple Boy is pulling a Monica, in that they're not really a student, but they have absolutely massive plot significance. So, she's talking to him, and then we cut over to Dimitri. First of all, sir, why do you have a sword? Everybody knows that your weapon proficiency is with lancers. I mean, in fairness, he does have the up arrows for sword. In other words, he naturally picks up sword better than a few of the other characters in the game. Oh my god, Dimitri, why? And this is also his pre-time skip design, so we can see that this is also chapter 12 and or before. Now, look at the sword. Do you see how there's the little semicircle just above the hilt where it's got like the little markings on it, right? This is a silver sword. So we've seen Edelgard with a silver axe and we've seen Dimitri with a silver sword. Okay, right. I want to rewind. 23 seconds. Right, I will not allow it to perish with you. Okay, deep goddess voice, because there's an Edelgard line. Let's listen.
I seek to destroy the irrational power structure that shackles Fodlan.
I seek to destroy the irrational power structure that shackles Fodlan. That's nothing new for her character. We know that that's what she is. She's girl boss, she's headstrong, she's got so much to get done, and she's not got a lot of time to get it done in. Her life expectancy got shortened by those who slither in the dark, and she's got 2 crests. She's got too much to get done. Of course she's anti-church. We love her. Okay, cool, whatever.
If the kingdom is ever to part ways with our bloody past, this is the path we must walk.
If the kingdom is ever to part ways with its bloody past, this is the path we must walk. First of all, Dimitri, without trying to sound like an absolute lunatic, have you lost your sanity? You know what, I can't even turn around and say that because of course this man lost his sanity. This man lost his sanity when not the Rhea tragedy, when the tragedy of Duska happened. It's just that he got very good at masking his trauma and his pain, and it just happened to resurface at chapter 8, you know, when there was the whole Rhea tragedy. So, let's just look at that line. It almost sounds like it's undermining his entire character arc. Let's just play it.
If the kingdom is ever to part ways with our bloody past, this is the path we must walk.
If the kingdom is ever to part ways with its bloody past. In other words, if the kingdom is ever to separate itself from the tragedy of Duska, this is the path we must walk. What, this timeline of events is the one you must walk? Or forgiveness and hope is the path that you must walk? So you're willing to completely disregard all the pain and suffering that you've gone through to get to this point so that you can carve a brighter future for tomorrow? I'm sorry, but wasn't your character arc essentially boiled down to 2 words? Discovery and revenge. You know, you wanted to discover the truth behind the tragedy of Duska and you wanted to enact revenge on those that committed it. Correct me if I'm wrong, by all means, but that just seems like it completely undermines Dimitri's character arc, which I don't even want to... I don't want to dare believe that they're going to undermine his character arc. However, I did notice something. If you listen to Chris Hackney's voice, I'm sorry to shout you out like that, Mr. Hackney. You do a fantastic job as Dimitri, by the way. You can tell that this is his pre-time skip octave, because Dimitri has many different voices. If the kingdom is ever to part with its bloody past, this is the way forward. Don't struggle. You know how he has the deepness, you know, like post-time skip, you know? Yeah, okay. Right, craziness aside, this is absolutely pre-time skip Dimitri. We can see it, we can hear it, we know that this is pre-time skip Dimitri, so this is chapter 12 and earlier. So there are pre-time skip elements at play. We see throughout the trailer that there's going to be some middle of the time skip elements, because that's also what the cover art is all centered on. And then I'm going to touch on post-time skip as well during this trailer, because I think we're actually getting some serious post-time skip elements, and it's gonna be sick. Okay, but mechanically, while we've got Dimitri on screen, let's just have a look down here. His screen is very similar to Edelgard's, except for the fact that he's also got 2 little lance icons. Edelgard did not get these, but you can also see in this section of gameplay, Dimitri is wielding Aridvar, his hero's relic that was passed down through the Blathed bloodline. So, methinks that these little icons may be a representation of Dimitri's extra techniques or maneuvers that he might be able to pull off with Aridvar, possibly. Edelgard doesn't get that because she doesn't have Emir, because canonically, Emir was manufactured by those who slither in the dark and given to her post-time skip. There you go. But here we see that Dimitri absolutely is using his hero's relic before the time skip, so why does he have that? I don't know. Maybe he went to the kingdom and got it. I don't know. I just picked it up because, oh, there's going to be some serious battling to get done. Like, what? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so Dimitri doing a cool stabby stab, and then, hi,
I have ambitions,
Lord.
Edelgard.
Okay,
Real ones.
what's interesting to me, though, is in this first section of gameplay, where we can see Claude mowing down all these grey-looking NPCs, they all seem to be bandits, so I think that this might just be Claude's early tutorial map. Hey, this is how you fight with a character that uses a bow. But I wonder why Claude is using Failnot and he doesn't have the icons like Dimitri has the two lances. Because if you have a look right there, you cannot see them. Huh. Anyway, so he does like some cool sexy flips because Claude is just cool and sexy, and do not argue with me on that. Edelgard. Now this is absolutely during time skip. This is after the events of chapter 12. You can tell because of the fact that she has her new design in the portrait. She says, "Our troops are preparing to advance from camp, which is located here, and our destination, Garrick Mark, is over here." So, as we can see, mechanically we have a giant map. This is really similar to the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity game, in which you had like a giant map and you could pick and choose where you wanted to go, visit, interact, get items, get rewards, commence battles. It really feels like it's borrowing from that, which I want to do a separate video on talking about mechanics, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this section. But when I first watched this trailer, I thought it was going to be like the red sections represented Adrestia, and that the blue sections represented Fargus, and the yellow sections that represented the Alliance. But no, what if the blue sections are just the allies, and the red sections are enemy territory, and that you've got to just, you know, take them over? You know, conquest. Yay! But not Fire Emblem Fates conquest. Right, okay, so we can see, okay, she holds the axe up, and it's the red handle, so this is the axe of Ukonvasara. Girly, you should not have this at all. Yep, there it is right there, I can see it. It's the Crest of Seros. Girl, why? Why do you have this axe, and why has the continuity on this axe changed? This should be the Crest of Gloucester. Anyways, so we see Edelgard, and she says,
Will you sit around and wait for a miracle? Or will you help me seize control of my fate?
will you sit around waiting for a miracle, or will you help me seize control of my fate? It almost sounds like she's talking to Byleth. I'm going to say that it sounds like she's talking to Byleth, because this really reminds me of the time where she basically told Byleth to get over Geralt's death. Which I heavily disagree with, but whatever. Whew. So it almost sounds as though she's telling Byleth to get over it and to help her with her grand ambitions of, you know, absolute total conquest, so that Edelgard can be the supreme uniter of Fodlan. Not the ruler of Fodlan, just the uniter of a broken continent. Girl, we are going to touch on Geralt, we're going to touch on Geralt's death, we're going to touch on all of that later in this trailer, because we are roughly halfway through this actual trailer, but the theories, God no. No. Anyways, we see Hubert. Hi, not vampire boyfriend. First of all, we can see timeskip Edelgard and, well, I say timeskip, mid-timeskip Edelgard and mid-timeskip Hubert, and can I just say, mid-timeskip Hubert's design is fucking amazing. I love this look for him. I love this look for him more than I loved the crazy look that he had pre-timeskip, and the, like, his looks were literally, I drink coffee and I stay awake for 17 hours a day and get 3 hours sleep. The rest of my time is spent dedicated to Lady Edelgard. That's 24/7, 365. My name is Hubert von Vestra, and that is my life. And then post-time skip, he went from I drink coffee to I drink wine. This look... Hi. Oh my god, but if Hubert looks this good, I cannot wait to see Ferdinand von Aia. Because I swear to God, the stress of wartime canonically meant that Ferdinand did not get time to have a haircut. He was protected from having bad hair. I hope to God that he's got like short, but I say short. Short was pre-time skip. Longer, but not like middle of his back long. I hope it's like shoulder length. if it's shoulder length, or if it's done up, oh my god, if it's done up in like a little ponytail. Oh my god, I can't wait to see it. Everybody knows Ferdinand is my absolute best boy in this game, okay? Ferdinand, I cannot wait. I hope we get to see Ferdinand. I hope we get to see all of the students. I hope we get to see all of the students. And we will see more of the students as well, because coming up later in this trailer, we're going to see some Hilda supremacy. Yeah. So, we see Dimitri and... Hi. Okay, first of all, Mans is looking fine. Second, more importantly, Mans has both eyes. He has not had his face gouged yet. But I think this is deliberate. I think this is very deliberately done. And you're going to hear me talk absolute balls right now. Time for crazy speculation. I think this game does contain post-time skip elements, like the reunion at Gronda Field. Let me break it down for you in conspiracy theory style. Okay, so who here remembers Fire Emblem Castle Conversations, a video that went up on Nintendo's YouTube channel where they invited voice actors from the Fire Emblem franchise to come in and have a chat about their experiences, either playing characters, being in the booth, recording lines, or playing the games. You know, I don't know if you know, but Christian Lamont, hey, shout outs to Christian Lamont, you did great as Ignatz. I hope if ever there's a genealogy or Thracia remake, you get to come back as Selif. I would love to hear it, I would love to see it, I would love to play it. Thank you. You did a great job as Iggy Bo Biggie. Yes, so, during his section where he's talking, you see, and I'm gonna put them on screen right now, yay, you can see them, Edelgard and Claude in their Emperor and Barbarossa classes, respectfully, during the Field of Gronda, like the reunion of Gronda, which would have been in Claude's story, it would have been chapter 17. Now, here's the problem with that. The problem is that chapter 18 is where Claude gets Barbarossa. How does he have Barbarossa class already? I don't know. So maybe this timeline of events is doing something incredibly different. I would like that very much. I would like that very much. Oh, okay, so, Edelgard has Emperor. We don't see Edelgard in the Emperor class until we fight her in her palace, and that's only during Silver Snow and Golden Deer's Verdant Wind pathway, because of the fact that when you fight Edelgard in the Blue Lions pathway... Oh, wait, hold on. Oh no, you do fight Edelgard in the Blue Lions pathway because you also fight her at the Field of Gronda, but that's Blue Lions and Golden Deer only, but she is not in her Emperor class, she's in her Armoured Lord class. Ah, yes. Ah, she had the red dress. Yes, I remember now, I remember. And you fight the Hedgeman Husk in the Blue Lions route, which is exclusive to the Blue Lions route because it's the final boss of the Blue Lions route, whereas in Silver Snow and Verdant Wind, it is absolutely her Emperor look. And they're the only times that you ever find her in the canon with the Emperor look, unless you're playing with her on Crimson Flower, in which she gets that as a late game promotion. It's her final form, the same way that Claude gets Barbarossa and that Dimitri gets Great Lord, promoting from his High Lord class. Okay, so Dimitri looking fine as hell. I'm so sorry that I'm just like recapping everything that you know. It's just I'm trying to pick out information and key points here for reference and sound like a crazy person on what I think is going to happen. So, rewind. Easter Garrick Mark.
Will you sit around and
Wait for a miracle?
Or will you help me seize control of my fate?
Pause. Take it back. Seize control of my fate. Dimitri, and then he runs forward. Smack. Boom. Pause. Look at this screenshot. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? I see Dimitri with Aridvar slamming, trying to impale Claude. Claude reins back the white wyvern that he only gets from his Barbarossa class, and look who we see in the shot underneath, wielding the one and only Freikugel. It is the queen herself, Hilda Valentine Goneril. Yes! Sporting a new hairstyle and a new outfit and super cute boots. First of all, let me just point this out. She looks great. Secondly, and more importantly, this means that we've seen Hubert and we've seen Hilda. It is not out of the realm of possibility to see Dedue, Dimitri's retainer. So, Claude, Barbarossa outfit. Well, it's not the Barbarossa outfit, but it's the Barbarossa dragon. This is the middle of the time skip, as you can see, because everybody's in their middle stage designs. I'm going to call them middle stage because I saw a template on Twitter not too long ago where it was like how this started, the middle form that you see now for the Warriors game, and then like the time skip designs, and I was just like, oh my god, these new evolutions look sick. That's a Pokemon joke. So, Claude with the Barbarossa. In the background, you can see like a great big structure. I think this is the Bridge of Myrddin. I think he's flying around Bridge of Myrddin here. And if it's not the Bridge of Myrddin, it's absolutely Fort Merceus. But he looks so hot in this cutscene. Hi, husband. Okay, if you didn't see our Golden Deer Let's Play, spoiler alert for the finale, we married Claude. Okay, right. Important detail now. Right. Oh my god, I can feel it. My sanity's about to go. Are you ready for this? Okay, so this is obviously the Immaculate One. Rhea, hi, girl, how you doing? You can see the moon in the background. This is nighttime. She's firing off a hyper beam, and it's nighttime. When did Rhea ever see any action and it was nighttime? Oh, that's right, Crimson Flower Chapter 18, because that was Edelgard's final boss, the fight for Ferdiad. Damn right, so I think we're borrowing elements from each of the 4 timelines, and we're gonna plot them all into this new timeline, and this is gonna be the golden route, this is gonna be the golden timeline. But if we talk about Three Hopes as a title, to me, that means one of 2 things. This means either, 1, title, meaning, okay, 3 hopes, either multiple pathways in a Warriors game, woo, yay, because you know, 1 pathway is 1 hope, 1 pathway is another hope, 1 pathway is another hope. That would be really cool, and it would be keeping in with the theme that the conflict of Fodlan is so morally grey that there is no right, there is no wrong. Or 3 hopes come together, which we're going to talk about that as well, where Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude come together to fight a greater evil. That would be great. Here's my problem with that. As we can see in this scene, Rhea is firing off one of her hyper beams. If we're fighting Rhea, and this is post-time skip, and this is us, maybe at this point, maybe by this point we've made an alliance with Dimitri and Claude, since at this point we'd obviously be working with Edelgard since she's anti-church. How does that affect Dimitri and Rhea's relationship? Because Dimitri is the crown prince of Fargus, and, well, technically by that point he's actually king. And Rhea is obviously the Archbishop of the Church of Seros, and Fargus and the Church were always on super duper happy good terms. Fracturing that dynamic would be such a massive political struggle in and of itself in order to reshape the foundations and conventions upon which Fodlan is then governed. It would be such a cool battle to see get waged, and I think we might just get a little bit of that, and it's going to be so good. I feel like if this is how it's going to plan out, if our 3 lords plus Byleth are going to come together to kick some ass, then Rhea would just be a stepping stone on the way to fight those who slither in the dark. Right, but that's just me. This is just me picking apart this frame where you can just see the moon and Rhea, because this is we're going to come back to it. So, as well, I don't know if you noticed, there's kind of like a billowing smoke, so it's kind of like there's a fire brewing. Hey, there were buildings on fire and the ground was on fire during the fight for Ferdiad. So, this theory holds water. It's also a Stretch Armstrong reach. I don't care. Right. This pisses me off. The way that this was edited pisses me off, because it almost makes me think that the hyper beam was directed at this door-like structure in this next shot. But look at this. I don't see a beam. I don't even see continuity here. I think this has been a deliberately placed scene. This is a completely different moment in time. And something is blowing up. And it looks like it's a door. Now, I have 2 theories on what this could be. Garreg Mach, because those are some very Garreg Mach-y looking doors. And also this window structure just here on the left-hand side. Or it's Shambhala. But I don't think it's Shambhala. Especially when we have a look at who the hell runs up. But before we do, let me just direct your attention to the outfit. Pause. Okay. So I don't know if you noticed, but in our 67th episode of our Fire Emblem 3 Houses Let's Play, Crimson Flower at this point, I'm there deciding what class I want to promote Petra into, and I noticed a detail. And that was that the mercenary class has a very specific collar design. And The thief class has very specific leg design for the outfits. This outfit looks like a mishmash of both, so I'm thinking this is a new class, because how the hell is how the hell are these classes supposed to be able to wield magic? They can't. So here's the thing. We see in the next shot exactly who this character is. You can tell from that grey collar that this is absolutely something like a mercenary class. But again, it's wielding magic. Let's rewind again. Those legs, they almost look thief-like, only they're a lot more covered up. Like the actual bare legs, you don't really see that. It's the plating around the thighs. That's what made me think thief. But this looks more like a mercenary outfit. But how can this be the mercenary outfit if it's, you know, a magic class? Unless it's a swordmaster class, which would explain the billowing, like, coat, overcoat, like, flowing thing. Because the swordmaster has that thing. But that's Monica. That's Monica. That's Monica. That's absolutely Monica. There's no other character with red hair that looks like that. That's Monica. No other character had red hair. Nobody in Black Eagles had red hair. Nobody in the Church of Seros had red hair. No, well, Ferdinand's a ginger, but that's different. That's like proper orange ginger. That's ginger nut ginger. Annette, Sylvain, but Sylvain is not a woman, and Annette does not look like this. And neither is Ferdinand. Ferdinand's too hot for this. Ginger for Golden Deer is Leone. So obviously, this is a redhead, a redhead. This is like a dark redhead. The only character that fits that description, not even Anna, not even basic bitch Anna, who has no supports, is this bitch. No, this is Kronya. This is absolutely Kronya, and the reason why this is Kronya is because Kronya wore the skin of Monica, so I think that she's got an expanded role. But if you remember Monica's design, what do you say, Adel? How about we sneak into the library later and, oh, hello, Professor. I'm a plot device. I'm gonna kill your dad at chapter 9. She had her hair done in pigtails. They were done in like a really tight bun, done like, you know. Here, we do not see that, but we also see the black earrings that Edelgard has worn throughout this trailer in her middle stage time skip design, her middle evolution design. I'm going to call it a middle evolution. I'm sorry for the Pokemon reference, but at the same time, I love that franchise as well. Don't come at me. I think Kronya / Monica has an expanded role, and here's how I see it panning out. What if this is actually... Right, okay, so here's the thing. There's a fan theory that goes around with those who slither in the dark that they kill off the characters that they want to impersonate. In other words, Cornelia, being those who slither in the dark, managed to infiltrate, go on the Ferdiad castle, like get close to the Fargus royal family. Arundel is Talus, Kronya is Monica, but Arundel and Monica were killed off by Talus and Kronya respectively, and that Talus and Kronya wear the skin of Monica and Arundel, maybe reversed respectively. I don't remember what order I said that in, but basically the man and the girl and the girl. There you go. Here's the thing. If they're expanding Monica's role, then does that mean that this is actual Monica? Has she been able to... Like, did she survive? Does the fan theory stand up? Did she die? Is this actually Kronya? Or, if this is actual Monica, what would the significance of her return mean, since we know that she disappeared sometime around chapter 6, but way before, because chapter 6 is technically when she's first introduced in the story, because that's when you go and save Flame. But we know that she disappeared from the monastery a year before. But yet, for some reason, we are here picking up Monica and Flame in chapter 6. Okay. Huh. Interesting lore. Because that's also where Manuela gets stabbed by Death Knight. So you save her, you save Flame, and you happen across Monica. But it's actually Kronya. And Edelgard knows that it's Kronya. But here's the thing. If it's Monica, if this is actual Monica, what is the significance and how would her return drive the narrative forward then in that way? Whereas, by the way, I'm sorry if I've peeked throughout this video. I'm really sorry about that. I'm just excited. But if this is Kronya, then we're expanding on her role, because there's no way that she would be dead. There's no way that she would be dead at this point if she was still wearing Monika's skin and able to shapeshift into Monika. But you have to remember as well that this is a different design. This is a different design. So that means that this is post-timeskip Monika, which never happened because Solon killed off Kronya in chapter 10, because that's how he unleashed the forbidden spell of Zaharas, the darkness, that swallowed up Byleth, that then caused Byleth and Sothis to have a chat in the darkness, fuse together, give Byleth the powers of the Enlightened One, cleave a vagina in the very fabric of reality, and step onto this world in the light and radiance of Sothis herself. Byleth is brought back into this world as if she has been born from a very dark womb. With the powers of the Enlightened One, Byleth then kills off Solon, and that's the showdown for chapter 10. How the hell is Monika Kronya able to have such a presence post-time skip if she's dead? She can't. So they're expanding on a role here if this is Monika. But that's the thing. If it's not Monika, why the hell are we being shown this? And who is this character? Because it only makes sense for it to be Monika, considering the fact that Monika is the one who looks most like this character. And we know that Monika's in trouble because of the fact that when you do Balthus and Happy's paralogue mission, Baron Ox is trying to use the Vajramushti to save his daughter, ends up using the relic against your party, turns into a demonic beast, and you have to kill him. So he's unable to save his daughter. Unless, in this timeline, he's able to save his daughter through the use of the Vajramushti, which I don't know how that would work, and she then gets to play a part in the war? But then if she gets to play a part in the war, what faction does she go to? I would say the Black Eagles, because that was the house that she was a part of. But then what does her class become? Because that is definitely not the Trickster class, and the Trickster and the Mortal Savant were the two classes that could wield swords and magic natively. I mean, obviously you could wield swords in any magic class, but like when you really look at it, Mortal Savant and Trickster were the only two left that make sense, which then begs the question, if they're really going to implement the Trickster class, what about the Ashen Wolves? Because Yuri's look is based on a Trickster. Like, his canon appearance post-timeskip is Trickster, the same way that Annette's is Warlock. So maybe, post-timeskip, Monika's canon appearance would be... Oh boy, God, I'm out of breath. Trickster. I mean, it makes sense, but this is the thing. If the clash at chapter 12, this time, in this timeline, happens, and Byleth does not have the powers of the Enlightened One, then things have taken a very, very different turn at some point in the story. And I have a theory about that, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. For now, let's carry on. But I wanted to point out the whole Monika wielding magic and my theory that it is Monika, because I think it is. Like, nothing else makes sense. And why is she wielding magic when she's wearing an outfit from like Mercenary or Swordmaster, and they're classes that can't wield magic unless her default outfit is a Trickster, TLDR. She's very determined. We see a hand on top of another hand. The hand that's got the blue on the bottom on the lance is absolutely Dimitri. It matches up with the art. So who is the hand on top of him? It's one of three people. One, a hallucination of Lambert, Dimitri's absolute spitting image. Mwah, love him. Hot boy Lambert, we love him. Two, Gilbert. It'd make absolute sense, since Gilbert was like a father figure to Dimitri, teaching the boy how to wield weaponry and how to defend himself, and also sent him on crazy training missions like getting lost on a mountainside in the middle of the night and trying to find his way back safely. Or, realistically, again, option number 2, it could also 3, it could be Dudu. Because we've already seen Hilda, we've seen Hubert, this could be about as much as they're willing to show for Dudu, because Dudu's design is going to be sick, I assume. So, let me hear your line.
We shall fight, we shall survive, and we shall win a glorious future for Fodlan.
Okay, we shall fight, we shall survive, we shall... Glorious future for... Okay, right, so, have they banded together? Have they banded together at this point? and that they're willing to fight together to overcome a great evil? Or is this just Dimitri trying to motivate his own troops? Because you can tell from that octave again, because Chris Hackney does such a good job at Dimitri's multi-layered facets of character, that this is absolutely either during time skip or post time skip Dimitri, because that octave is too deep to be his pre-time skip. So I think that this is like during time skip, during that 5-year period, and that Dimitri's trying to rally his troops. Okay, so let's just rewind it again. Dimitri looking hot boy. Here we see dead Fargusian soldier in the middle of Claude and Edelgard, who Edelgard is putting down the axe of Uconversara. Again, girly, why do you have that, and why did they change the crest that it's affiliated to? And 2, Claude, you should not have your Barbarossa. Did you go back to Elmira and come back to Fodlan in that time between chapters 12 and now with your Barbarossa, so that you can put it away again, so that you can come back after chapter 18? But if you have a look at the very top left, you will see that there is a dead Adrestian soldier. You can tell it's Adrestian because of the red on the armor. Okay, so 3 different territories are still fighting, and that's fine. Obviously, we can see that Claude represents the Leicester Alliance. That's always been a thing. We know this, but he's the only Leicester Alliance member on screen, whereas we have the 1 Fargusian soldier, and we have the 2 Adrestian members, unnamed dead soldier in the top left, and Edelgard on screen. Yay!
And we shall win!
Okay, pause. Hi. Hello, hello, my Dimitri heart cannot deal with this. Hello, hi. Okay, so Claude and Dimitri fighting back to back. Meanwhile, you've got every other soldier in the background tearing each other to pieces. We've got some armored knights, we've got some soldiers, we've got Adrestian soldiers because of the red. You can see that there's a Fargusian. I'm going to call them Fargusians, because what a Fargusi do though. No, but seriously, he's the one wielding the sword in the background, in the blue. And if you look on the very, very, very far right, you can see someone with yellow armor. So obviously all 3 factions are still at war with each other during time skip. So for Dimitri and Claude to be back to back, it says to me that they are allied against Adrestia at the very least, which is a nice parallel to Claude and Dimitri in Blue Lion's route, where Dimitri comes in and saves Claude at Deirdre, and they part on good terms, Claude leaving the legacy of the Leicester Alliance and Failnaught to Dimitri, dissolving the Leicester Alliance to make it an extended Fargus, dividing the country from Kingdom, Alliance and Empire into Kingdom and Empire, like he did in 3 Houses. So it was just 2 countries at the end of Dimitri's campaign that were going to war against each other. Great, okay, cool. It's just a nice little parallel that I noticed. So I think it's really nice that there are threads of continuity and there are threads of hints and symbolism and speculation, because that was what they did in the base game. They were like, oh, so this is Dimitri dying at Field of Gronda in Claude's timeline. How does that play out for, if you were to play Edelgard's timeline? Well, simply put, you don't get to go to Field of Gronda in Edelgard's timeline. You don't even get to go to Field of Gronda in the reunion during Silver Snow, because Gilbert just turns up and says, oh, there's going to be a big battle. And you and Seteth wait at the monastery and you get the news that Dimitri's dead. That night, Byleth has the big hallucination dream, and all I'm thinking to myself is, why? Why would they not give us the opportunity? This could have been Silver. This route could have been Silver Snow. This route could have been Silver Snow. This could have been the perfect. If this is a route in which Dimitri and Claude ally together to overcome Edelgard, or this is a route in which all 3 lords come together, then Silver Snow is null and void in my opinion. I mean, in fairness, it didn't exactly hold up any significance whatsoever, to be honest, except for the lore dump of Byleth, which they already did in Cindered Shadows. And we even got Byleth's mom in Cindered Shadows. Citri Eisner. Girl! Anyway, so the 3 factions are there, but do you notice that the Adrestians are the only ones fighting? Because if you have a look at the Fargusian and the Leicester Alliance soldiers, they never strike each other. Blue and yellow never attack each other, but red is absolutely attacking everybody on a hyper-offensive. I wonder why. Gee, it's obvious.
A glorious future for Fodlan!
We see Edelgard, we see Dimitri. She's trying to kill him. He's trying to kill her. Claude's arrow flies between them and they both look up and they see Claude. I don't know why. But this is literally Rayquaza to Groudon and Kyogre. I'm sorry, and I know that that joke's already been passed around because I'm slow. I don't make up rules like this. But she has the axe of Conversara. This is during time skip. Why is Claude shooting an arrow in the middle of Edelgard and Dimitri? Is he trying to either rile them up? Is he trying to get under the skin? Is he trying to stop them from killing each other because he's aware of something? Because he's a schemer? Because he's smart? Is he trying to make them stop fighting so that they can have a chat with each other, so that they can dissolve all differences, come together? But then, if they did that, there would be no reason for those two scenes post-time skip at the Field of Gronda reunion where we see Edelgard in the Emperor and we see Claude as the Barbarossa. There would be no reason for that. So, if we're not having if we're not having post-time skip elements, then why are we seeing Rhea fighting in her Immaculate One form in what I believe is Verdiad? Because that was only Crimson Flower. I'm sat here trying to piece together so many different things from this timeline of events, and all I can see right now is Judith getting her shit absolutely thrown in and my own sanity leaving me like an hourglass. So, Edelgard, Axe of Conversara, slashes Judith, and we can see the Crest of Flames, confirming that crests are going to be a mechanic in this game. Whether they function like they did in Three Houses remains to be seen, because I bet you a pound to a penny, English Nintendo will not market this game. They will not market this game, and we will have to rely on Famitsu scans and other magazine outlets for information, and it will have to be translated, and then we'll have to go to Serenus Forest. Love Serenus Forest, you guys do amazing work, thank you. And we'll have to get our information from that, and it's going to be great. But if you have a look at Edelgard's gauge, at least she's almost full now with the Awakening-esque gauge. Woo, yay! So I'm wondering then, if Edelgard's Crest of Flames, because obviously we know that she's got Crest of Ceros from Crest of Flames, if that is triggered just like normal, then how do Dimitri's and Claude's crests trigger? Since we know that crests are going to be a mechanic in this game, then, because obviously they're going to have to have some reworks for certain crests, like for instance. Dimitri's Crest of Blathed increases, I believe it increases might during combat arts, but I know that it's triggered by the use of combat arts, and Claude's is also affected by combat arts, the Crest of Regan. But, here's my thing, are combat arts even in the game? I don't know. I do not know. So, let's carry on.
Thank you again.
Judith gets her absolute shit wrecked by Edelgard, which, can we have Judith as a playable character, please? Thank you. Next up, we see Dimitri fighting Randolph. I'm going to guess that this is outside Garrigmark. It would make sense, considering Randolph tries to attack the monastery. Oh, he has 3 bars now. Okay, 1 on the bottom and 2 underneath his HP bar. Okay, cool. Nice one, Dimitri. And he's also got Hot Portrait, love it, but also some meter in his Awakening gauge. Now, I was having a look at that map, and to me, it looked as though it could be, get ready for it, Garrigmark itself. But here's my problem with that. You see the bottom left corner of that map? That could be the greenhouse. The very narrow bit would have been the, what do they call them? It's where everybody sleeps. The quarters? Personal quarters? Anyways, the red square there would have been the training grounds, but why would the training grounds extend directly downwards to where the classrooms are? But maybe, in a Warriors game, the maps just don't have to have any continuity or semblance of sanity. Up at the top would obviously be the cathedral. On the top right, that would have been where the saint statues are, but why would that extend straight downwards, past the bridge to the cathedral, down to where the bulk of the academy then is? Like, they would go off to the graveyard, you know, and the stables underneath that. And the marketplace, right at the bottom of the middle. You know, there's no way, because that map is too different. But it was just fun to see those parallels together. Anyways, carrying on. So Randolph gets his shit pushed in, and this, if it turns out that this is actually Garrigmark, which, I mean, from Dimitri's perspective here, and considering that he's pointing to the lower right, I don't remember seeing any walls like that. So I don't think this is. I think this might actually be Garrigmark Town. This might actually be Garrigmark Town. Possibly. I don't know. Because, really, we only fought in the town of Garrigmark, where we had to kill Palado during Chapter 13 for Silver Snow, Crimson... No, not Crimson Flower. Pallardo makes one appearance in Crimson Flower, and that is during Yuritsa and Anna's paralogue. Other than that, he's irrelevant. Pallardo appears during the Axe of Conversara chapter. Chapter 13, Golden Deer, Blue Lions, and Silver Snow. So, we see Dimitri run around in the field and there's a demonic beast. Okay, but that's great and everything. First of all, we've got a nice zoom in on the map. Second of all, this map gives me Cindered Shadows vibes, chapter 3, where there's a load of cliffs all around you, and it's that map where you're trying to find the right switch so that you can unearth the Chalice of Beginnings. And we're not exactly averse to the fact that you had to fight giant things there, because you had to fight the giant golems there that were protecting the Chalice of Beginnings. Moving on to Claude, where he has his white dragon and he's in his middle stage evolution. Hi, thank you, portrait. You look gorgeous, thank you. We see he's got 2 fire symbols. Hey, look at this. He has them now, and he has his relic. Fail not, but he had his relic Fail not earlier in the trailer, and he didn't have those 2 symbols. So, maybe, just maybe, Claude had to wait that little bit longer to get those 2 symbols. Maybe they were a feature that weren't unlocked yet, or maybe, just maybe, it was a continuity error. Possibly. This is a trailer. The game footage is not final. The game is still being worked upon. And his meter on the bottom is considerably bigger than what we've seen of Dimitri's. Look at Dimitri's again, where he's got the 2 little Aridvar, well, the 2 little lancers. Now look at Claude's. It's bigger. It's bigger. It's much bigger. Okay, cool. The environment. At first I thought this was the Great Bridge of Myrddin, because of all the concrete, all the big structures, but then I looked in the background. There were no houses around the Great Bridge of Myrddin, so that leads me to believe that it's Deirdre, the aquatic capital. Now, if it's Deirdre, first of all, yay for Claude's supremacy, because that's his country's capital. Woo! Yay, we like to see it. Secondly, we see brawlers and archers here, confirming the appearance of brawler and archer units. Maybe, just maybe. Maybe, just maybe. And this is going to be saved for a character discussion video for this channel later, because, you know, I want to talk a little bit about promotions and how that's going to work, considering that they were in the base Fire Emblem Warriors. Not that this game's a sequel to that game. It's not. This is a spin-off, but also may possibly be its own canon to Fire Emblem Three Houses. Yay, I love that. The same way that Age of Calamity is absolutely canon to Breath of the Wild, it's just an offshoot in the timeline split, and for you to turn around and say that Age of Calamity is not canon is to invalidate the fact that so many other timelines exist in the Zelda canon. You know, if Wind Waker is not canon, then I guess we can just write off Ocarina of Time as well, because, you know, there you go. Because, you know, separate timelines, whatever. Anyway, Ocarina's a bad example. Let's use Majora's Mask. There you go. Okay, much better. So we see that Claude has completely dismounted from his Barbarossa. I'm going to call the dragon his Barbarossa, and he's fighting on foot. Does this mean that units that can mount and dismount at will? In other words, will we see, and this is my headcanon for how this game's going to work, will we see Ferdinand, Sylvain, and Lawrence, the typically cavalier characters, be able to mount and dismount? Because I feel like if they keep things as flexible as Three Houses, being able to make your own warriors, your own units, is going to be absolutely insane because of that level of customization. However, if they have preset classes for everybody, then I can see Ash, Ignatz, and Bernadetta being your archer. I can see Leone possibly being a bow knight. I can see she would also make a really good fighter, or a warrior, but, like, there's no need for her to be a warrior because Hilda's already the axe user for that house. Dudu would be the armoured character, that's great. Hubert would be Magic Boy, Dark Sorcerer, Dark Magic user. Lysithea, Dorothea, and Annette would be your magic casters, they'd be your spellcasters, they'd be your mages. Then you've got Marianne, Linhart, and Mercedes. Oh, my best girl, I love her, so much floof, love her. As your healers. So, and also faith magic. So, if they do what they did with cloned movesets, I know I'm kind of like spoiling a little bit of that video because I feel like we're going to get clone movesets. Then where does that leave characters like Felix? Felix would have to be a swordmaster unless they just borrow the unique classes that they set up for everybody Oh my god, if they borrow the unique classes that they set up for everybody, then Petra would be an assassin. Petra would be the only assassin. Oh, there's potential. Oh, there's potential. But anyways, getting back to the whole mounting and dismounting. Claude, able to mount and dismount at will, so if it applies to wyverns, and if it applies to wyvern lords, wyvern riders, barbarosses, then it's not out of the realm of possibility to presume that this could also apply to cavaliers, paladins, great knights. It could also apply to holy knights and dark knights if every class is in the game. Maybe they take a couple of classes out, in which case please remove mortal savant, because good lord, I don't like it. Thanks. Okay, carrying on. So Claude. Here we go. Okay, Shambhala. This is Shambhala. We're in a tank. This is first person. This is Purple Boy's perspective. That's the theory. Purple Boy is a creation, the same way that his god is a creation. I think the Purple Boy's god is a creation. I think that the Purple Boy's god is a Yaldabaoth. Whatever comes out of Shambhala is never good. That's why when Rhea came out of Shambhala in Silver Snow after having taken too much damage from the Javelins of Light, she went fucking insane. She turned evil. I'm not trying to say that, because she went to Shambhala, she went evil. No, I'm saying because the wounds, like her wounds and injuries, sent her into a fucking frenzy. Anyways, although A Funeral of Flowers is that bitch. Everyone will agree. A Funeral of Flowers is that bitch. It's such a good track. God Shattering Star is amazing. A Funeral of Flowers is that bitch. Both are really good tracks. Getting back to my point. This could also be, what if, Purple Boy's related to Nemesis? Nemesis was in Shambhala. We know the Nemesis was in Shambhala because when you do the Golden Deer pathway and Chapter 21 happens and you beat Chapter 21, out comes the hands from one of the coffins and it rips off the chains and then... Nemesis steps out. We love to see it. Good lord. Oh my god. But if this guy is an experimentation, if Purple Boy's an experimentation, then his god has to be an experimentation as well. And why is there suddenly a new god when we already knew about Sothis? We knew about Sothis. How can there be another god? How can you write another god into the lore? Either this is a new god that was shunned forever, or worshipped by the Agarthans, or it's a creation. And if it's a creation, then it will not hold the same amount of power as what Sothis does. If Sothis is the progenitor god, then that would mean that Sothis is the one true god, or the original god of this world. So if this new god thinks that she can come along and start whispering about cycles and shit into my ear, trying to make a new game plus canon theory canon, then I'm about to lose my damn mind. Do not test me on this one.
Revenge is not a thing you take for someone else. You seek revenge to slake your rage and heal your wounded heart.
Revenge is not a sin you take for someone else. The only time Byleth is ever vengeful is when Geralt dies. That's the only time. Everything else in Byleth's character arc is spent driving the narrative forward for the house leader that they've sided with. Which reminds me, which house leader has Byleth sided with? I wonder, because whichever house leader Byleth is sided with, we could argue then becomes more canon than the others in the main game, unless you want to just count this as a spin-off, like forever. In which case, I don't think I would be willing to do that, depending on how the story I say depending on how the story pans out, because that makes it sound as though, oh well, I didn't like it, it's not canon. No, I feel like this is still canon because it's set in the same universe, and the developers have gone out of the way to issue statements saying that, yes, this is set in the same universe, so this is still a canon branch of the timeline, despite the fact that it's riddled with continuity errors like the Crest of Gloucester on the Axe of Ukombasara, which is in Edelgard's possession, despite the fact that Edelgard cannot get the Axe of Ukombasara in her pathway. Help me. Anyways, slake your heart.
You seek revenge to slake your rage and heal your wounded heart.
Byleth, girl, do you have a wounded heart? Because that shit does not beat. Also, look at Byleth's hair color. It's light green. What does that mean? It means Kronya's dead. Okay, so Kronya Monica's dead. Because Kronya Monica has to be dead so that Solon can do the spells, the Horus, Darkness, Violet Step Out, Glorious Vagina, Green Hair, you know, birthed into the world, all that. Oh, good lord. So Violet has the Enlightened One power here. But also look at the background, it's absolutely Aelel, the Valley of Torment. Which, if this is Aelel, the Valley of Torment, then is this part of that same battle where we saw the blue Fargusian paladin in the beginning of the trailer? Woo! Okay, juicy. Yes, we love to see it, we love to see full circle. And that's how we tie it back. Okay, so bring it back a little bit more. Pause, look at that, it's Geralt. Oh my god, it's Geralt. Hi, Dad. Okay, it's Geralt. Hi, okay. Oh, good lord, there's a lot to unpack here. I think he's gonna live and have an extended role and maybe still die. Because look at this background. It's wet. It's raining. Do you know what happened when Geralt died? It rained. Chapter 9, Geralt died and it rained. And Geralt's just been pushed to the ground by someone or something. And he's looking in anger as if like, what the fuck? Or who the fuck just did that? I reckon. Okay, if this is New Game plus Byleth, and Byleth's travelled through all 4 timelines, Byleth knows for a fact that this is a constant, that Geralt's going to die across those timelines, unless Byleth now can try and successfully intervene with stopping Monica, which would make sense considering then that Monica would have an extended role, as we've seen earlier in the trailer, if that is indeed Monica. Because she would push Geralt out of the way to stop Monica Kronya from killing him and then repel the attack. I know what you're already thinking. She tried to stop Monica and Talis intervened. Correct! Yes, she did, but we also haven't seen those who slither in the dark, despite the fact that I've already talked about Shambhala, which means if I've already talked about Shambhala, we can absolutely assume those who slither in the dark will have a presence in this game. Period. Okay, so... Oh, I'm sorry, but my god, there's just so much here. Right. Okay. Thanks for all your help, sir. No problem. And then she turns around, she readies the dagger, but what if Byleth, instead of being on the other side of the fucking yard, what if Byleth is right next to Geralt and is able to successfully intercept Monica Kronya? But then why would Monica Kronya make the stab while Byleth is right there? Realistically, that wouldn't make sense, nor would it be a successful assassination attempt, considering the fact that if after 4 timelines, Byleth would absolutely know that this is coming. Realistically, that doesn't make sense to me. So, I think maybe Monica Kronya, suddenly with the capability of wielding magic... I hate that so much. Oh, good lord, help me. Would know that Monica's about to plan something, Monica Kronya's about to do some shit, so she can successfully intervene in that and not get cooked by Talis. Which would lead to a branch in the fates from that point, from chapter 9. Meaning, because the fact that Geralt's here means that this has got to be pre-time skip, and this is not a new design for Geralt. So we know that this is absolutely pre-time skip, but then again, the adults didn't change the designs post-time skip, and it hurts me, because Shamir could have been so fine, and don't even get me started. Like, Flayn and Seteth needed something. I get it, they're thousands of years old, I get it. Saints, Keyhole and Sethleen, I get it, okay, but like, everybody else changed design. Why couldn't the teachers? Why couldn't the church staff? Alois, you could have aged a bit. Manuela, your hair could have been done different. You could have had different makeup. Oh my god. If they'd have made Manuela like a plus size, that would have been absolute plus size supremacy. That would have been so good. But yet still absolutely booze, mum, wine, horny. Like, Manuela would have been a queen. Oh, I can't wait. I hope Manuela's in this game. But if she's in this game, then does that mean she's going to play as a bishop, or is she going to play as an assassin? Because, if you remember, in Blue Lions, if you don't recruit Manuela and Hanneman's a warlock, and Manuela is a canonically assassin class. Yes, if you do Dimitri's Paralogue, the Silver Maiden, in which he goes to Aryan Road to take it back from Hubert, he has to confront Hanneman and Manuela as well. Okay, technically they're not important, you just have to kill Dimitri, because you can do that in a turn with Stride and a couple of walkers. Anyway, and a dancer. Oh god. But Manuela would be an assassin, so I wonder what classes they would make characters like Manuela, where they are presented as one class, but then they become a different class post-time skip. So, you know, it's just a fun thing. But getting back to Geralt. Hi. Hello, sir. Yes. I feel like we're going to save you from your inevitable Chapter 9 fate, and we're going to create a new stitch in the timeline there. But in doing so, that's going to have repercussions because of the fact that, again, like I've said, we haven't seen Byleth with the light green hair pre-time skip, because it depends on when she fights Purple Boy at ALL, the Valley of Torment, because you do actually go to ALL, the Valley of Torment, post-time skip. Yes, you do. I don't know if you know this, but it happens after, it's the chapter where you can recruit Ash, basically. It's the chapter where you can recruit Ash in Golden Deer. You can recruit Ash in Golden Deer if you fight him as Byleth. Yay. But I think you already have to have recruited him before time skip. Anyways, it's that chapter because Lord, is it Gwendol? The Grey Lion? I am Gwendol, the Grey Lion. Him, yes, because Yuri also has unique dialogue with him. Yes. Anyway, getting back to it, but basically I think that Byleth will still get Enlightened 1, Monica Kronya may still die, but it might just be later than planned, which would mean that Byleth would then go into the Chapter 12 struggle without the powers of the Enlightened 1. That would be the ramification, that would be the repercussion of saving Geralt's life. Oh my god. Oh my god. So narratively, how would that work then? Narratively, how does that work? You know what, I'm not the one writing the story. I'm going to be the one with my Skittles and Maltesers just sitting there waiting for this to pan out. I'm excited. I'm a bystander to this narrative. I cannot wait to see it. I'm excited. The more I talk about it, the more excited I become, and the more quickly I begin to articulate my thoughts, because I need to talk fast, otherwise I'm going to forget what I said. Sorry. So we see Dimitri and he's looking up to something. I don't really care about that scene. That's fine. It's Dimitri, but it's absolutely pre-time skip Dimitri, because we can tell. It's the outfit. He's not got the collar, and he doesn't have the shaggy hair, so we know for a fact that that's Dimitri. But I swear to God, if in this game we see Dimitri lose an eye, I'm going to go so feral. Boar Dimitri is going to look like a picnic. Anyways, Rhea the Immaculate One getting bonked. This is that same battle as we saw Rhea earlier with the hyper beams, and she's absolutely getting bonked here. She's absolutely getting bonked. There's no way that she's charging up a beam. She's absolutely getting her shit pushed in. Which, if she's getting her shit pushed in, then this has got to be a post-time skip fight. This has got to be the fight for Ferdiad, which is evidenced by the fact that there are many building-like structures all around her. This is also set at nighttime because you can tell with the stars in the sky. Oh my god, there's post-time skip elements in here, which means that we might just get some serious justice for the Crimson Flower route, if this is a unification of all three lords. If Claude and Dimitri and Edelgard can settle their shit and do the Field of Gronda and settle down and just assess the situations, just like my headcanon from years ago that I posted on Tumblr and then deleted my Tumblr because I wasn't finding any joy on Tumblr. Oh my god. If they reconcile during the battle at Gronda Field post-time skip, then I'm going to be so vindicated to the point where I break my spine doing a cartwheel into a backflip and smacking myself up against a concrete wall. I kid you not, I'm going to feel so vindicated at that point. So, who is she getting bonked by? Edelgard and Byleth. It's got to be Edelgard and Byleth because that's how it happened in Crimson Flower. So, that means then, if that's the end of Rhea, I can see Rhea just being an obstacle. I see if the three lords come together, talk the differences out, and actually listen to one another. Claude wanting to know exactly what the fuck is up with Rhea. Rhea revealing, hey, the church is actually really fucking weird. Edelgard being like, yeah, bitch, I know that the church is fucking weird. You just want to hold on to your fucking power, and that's really uncool. And Dimitri being like, yeah, who the fuck did the tragedy of Duska? And then Edelgard being like, oh, my uncle did it. I'm not affiliated with it. I already told you that during the course of the Blue Lions and Black Eagles campaigns, but you wouldn't listen to me because you're stubborn. And Dimitri being like, I mean, you're not wrong. But then Edelgard being like, so really our enemy is the people that gave me 2 crests. And Claude then being like, oh, Hilda, do you know all about that? And she's like, yeah, they live in my basement. Because, you know, Shambhala is just south of Goneril territory. And then obviously there'd have to be a Javelin of Light. Hubert would have to trace that magic back. That's how we get to Shambhala. That's how we confront those who slither in the dark, but we won't get this information until after the threat of Rhea has been eradicated from Fodlan. Oh my god, that means we might also see Cyril, we might see Catherine, oh, we might see Gilbert. Oh, we might see Gilbert, because I did the whole theory of how that's the gloved hand, that's Dimitri, and then the one on top of it might be Gilbert. If it's like a form of reassurance, but I think it's to do. Oh my god. There's a lot to unpack. This trailer is the gift that keeps on giving. But do you see why it's cost me 4 nights of sleep? Because I've been theorizing so much. But we are very nearly at the end now. So, bonk, Edelgard clutching her head. I think this is also during the time where you see Dimitri and Claude, Dimitri trying to kill Edelgard, Claude shoot the arrow in between them. I think it's part of that scene. But you can have a look at the ruined state around her, and there's some concrete, there's some wood, you know, there's building infrastructure. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to say that this is happening in the town of Garrigmark, that these three are fighting, since Garrigmark appears to have been a hotly contested location, considering the fact that we saw in the earlier part of the trailer, Edelgard with the during time skip look, saying that she needed to get to Garrigmark, which, because it's such a central location in the continent, it would make sense, canonically, for it to have passed over in ownership of territory in those 5 years that Byleth was not around. You know what I mean? Like Alliance has got it at one bit, then Fargus has got it at one bit, then Adrestia has got it at one bit, then Alliance takes it back, and then Adrestia takes it back, and then Fargus takes it back, and then Adrestia takes it back. You know, like turf war. It's a turf war. It's a turf war. It's a turf war. Garrigmark is a turf war. It's Splatoon. That's a horrible way to end it, but yeah. But anyways, she's clutching her head, and characters with an anime aesthetic only really ever do this when they're either A, in great pain, or B, realizing something, or C, she's coming to a slow realization that her words are not getting through to whoever she's speaking to. So I think she's trying to articulate her thoughts, and neither Dimitri or Claude are understanding her and her ideals, and that's because she's horrible at communicating. All three of them are horrible at communicating. Dimitri could have literally just undermined his entire character arc by turning around and saying, yeah, so you didn't do the tragedy of Duska. Who did? Do you know? And she could have been like, oh yeah, my uncle, who's not really my uncle because he's actually a Mormon living underground looking ass, mole people looking ass. Okay, right, take me to him. And then Claude being like, oh, so that's more secrets, that's more history, yay, let's have a look at that. Because, you know, like in Golden Deer, we obviously get that massive lore dump at the very, 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 very end of the game. But this is way after Edelgard and Dimitri have died. So, how would Claude come across that same information so they could relay it to Edelgard and Dimitri? And what would be the benefits of relaying it to Edelgard, specifically considering that she is the enemy? That he might gain Edelgard as an ally if he can get the truth from her that she and those who slither in the dark are not on friendly terms, even though Edelgard knows that she's not on friendly terms with those who slither in the dark anyways, because Hubert is able to tell the player in the Golden Deer route and the Blue Lines, I believe, no, not Blue Lines, Silver Snow routes, that the Empire was using those who slither in the dark the same way that those who slither in the dark were using the Empire for a conquest of Fodlan, so that then the mole people could come out of hiding and, you know, take over. Because Hubert wrote that in his suicide note. Well, I say it's his suicide note. It's not. It's just his death note. Not that death note. But you know what I mean? Anyways, so Edelgard seems to be one of three things. Either frustrated, headache, or whatever the other one was that I said. Claude just being sexy, but this is absolutely during time skip. Well, during time skip because you can... No, not during time skip. During the... during that 5-year period. Yeah, during time skip. It's not post time skip, it's not pre. You can tell because his hair and his outfit. Anyways, and he looks hot. Purple, gold, mwah. Sir, rim me. Whoa. So here we have Byleth, we have Purple Boy. ALL, there's not much for me to go over here, except for the fact that Purple Boy is dual-wielding what looks to be a Wodow or a Killing Edge and a new relic, which says to me that they've created, those who slither in the dark, providing my theory holds water that, you know, this guy's a creation from those who slither in the dark, in which case, why does he not look like them? Why does he not have the mole people skin colour? Why is he not anemic? Why? anemic. That's when you've got iron deficiency in your blood. Why is he not white? Like, he's white, but he's not white. You know what I mean? Anyways, so he dodges the sword that Byleth's obviously going to kill him with, but he dodges it. But this is not the sword of the Creator, and he's able to shatter this sword completely. One, Byleth, why? Why are you not wielding the sword? For what narrative purpose are you not wielding the sword of the Creator? For what you've had it from chapter 4. And here you are, potentially post-time skip, with your Enlightened One power, not wielding Sword of the Creator. Okay, hi, quick interjection on my part. I was about to go to sleep, and I had already started rendering out this video. You know, just the base, hour-and-a-half discussion, and oh, lo and behold, I noticed 2 extra things. I just want to talk about this one first. It's Byleth, but with the swords. You see, I went into this under the assumption that Byleth had chosen to bring this crappy sword with her to ALL, the Valley of Torment, whereas the guy, Purple Boy, is dual-wielding the sword, like the Wodow/Killing Edge, and his new relic. The problem with that theory is that I was thinking on the wrong train of thought. Reverse engineer it, it's not that Byleth has made the choice not to bring the Sword of the Creator, it's that Byleth can't bring the Sword of the Creator. And that's why we see her without it, because I'm going to go out on a whim. I'm going to say that this is post-time skip. And that's why, like, we have the Enlightened One. We're also seeing ALL, the Valley of Torment, because you do go there post-time skip as well, because, you know, the whole recruiting Ash chapter, you know, Gwendol the Grey Lion, all that. You know, it, like, just minutiae, just tiny little details like that, it adds up. Whereas it's also in post-game, it's also post-time skip that you actually learn about ALL, because of the fact that you do go there pre-time skip, but that's only if you've got Dorothea or Ingrid to do their paralogue. But my point is that maybe Purple Boy, or his god, or some other force has forcibly stripped Byleth of the Sword of the Creator. Now remember that the Sothis' bones, because the hero's relics were made of the bones, the hero's relics are made of the bones, the crest stones are the hearts, like the crest of flames, the one that's over Byleth's heart, is Sothis' heart, and that's why, you know, because of the whole vessel thing and the Rhea experiments and the Citriizner, all that stuff, all of that. That's why Byleth is Byleth. Like, that is why Byleth is Byleth. But like, I feel like I'm going off on a massive tangent and just a stupid lore rant. Getting back on focus, it's that I think someone's taken the Sword of the Creator from Byleth, and that's why we don't see Byleth with the Sword of the Creator, because in every other anime cutscene, and in every other moment that's like a CG cutscene in Three Houses, you always see Byleth with the Sword of the Creator, regardless of timeline. Period. Carry on. And this guy's hair looks sick. It's purple and it's orange. But is it orange because of his powers that he's obviously got from his god, the same way that Byleth's got Sothis' Enlightened One? And besides, what would be the parallel to an Enlightened One? A Dark Soul? Not that kind of Dark Souls. Anyway. No, but it's fun to think about, because Byleth and this guy are obviously being set up as direct parallels to each other, because they've both got glowing auras. So, you know, they've both got a god. But I don't think his is a real god. I think it's a Yaldabaoth. I think it's a false god. Because if you're familiar with the concept, well, if you're familiar with Gnosticism, basically the Yaldabaoth was the creation of Sophia. Sophia was Christ's twin sister, but it took Christ and Sophia to create life. But Sophia was like, nah, bitch, I'm gonna create life. And then Sophia created a Yaldabaoth, an entity that had the same powers as God, but it ended up being mortal. So God was like, hey, my third child, Saturnile, can you go and kill this? And Saturnile were like, you got it, G-Man, and then killed Yaldabaoth, and that's why Persona 5 happened. True story. Saturnile versus Yaldabaoth. True story. Anyways, so Violet's sword completely shattered. This guy's absolutely smoked, getting ready to go for a kill. I wonder if this guy can also turn back time then. Because we know that Violet can. And if this guy can also turn back time, then it lines up with the original concept that the developers have for Edelgard, considering the fact that Edelgard had 2 crests, and one of them was the exact same as Violet's, the Crest of Flames. And the original plan was for Edelgard to be able to turn back time, just like Violet could, so that Violet could have their movements, or her movements, undermined by Edelgard, making her a fucking G. She would, like, battles would have been so crazy, but, like, that's the thing. When you implement the use of, like, a turn wheel, Miller's turn wheel, or, like, a divine pulse, or something like that, and you give it to the enemy, you expect the enemy to be able to use it, and use it effectively. Okay, and here's a thing that I forgot to point out as well. Because, you know, what is sleep? Take a look at Byleth. Right, okay, what did you see? Did you see it? Did you see it? Byleth is very green. Very, very green. Now, characters really only... And this is... Byleth is very, very green. And to me, this says that this is during a crucial moment in the story, because we've just seen that Purple Boy has shattered Byleth's sword, and Byleth now has no way to defend herself. Cue plot device. And that's why it's a cutscene, because something important is going to happen in the cutscene. Yay. Theory time. Okay. Because we love a good theory and a good bit of speculation. What is sleep? Literally, glowing, there's a power that's going to erupt from Byleth, and I think it's going to be the last of Sothis' power. In other words, I think this is going to strip Byleth of the Enlightened One powers, and she's going to go back to having the dark hair. Because then we give Sothis a bigger presence post-time skip, which is something that a lot of people complained about, that Sothis had no importance after the fusion. Because what role does Sothis play? She is the god, okay? What does she do after fusing with Byleth? Help wake Byleth up after the 5-year time skip. What does she do after that? Nothing, unless you choose to marry Sothis at the very end of the game, in which case it's kind of weird. It's kind of like marrying yourself, or at least an extension of your being. But anyway, my point is that my theory is that Sothis will expend the last of her power to keep Byleth safe, and that might tie into Sothis' whole line of knowing that Byleth will do what Byleth must. Possibly. Maybe. I don't know. But I like speculation. If I'm right, I'm vindicated. If I'm wrong, I'm open to being wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing bad about it, because from failure, we learn. From success, not so much. Case in point. Glowing girl. God. Gonna leave a body. But it's gonna be enough force not to kill Purple Boy, but to allow Byleth the time for a tactical retreat. You get me? Okay, cool, good. Carry on. But then you've got your release date, which is 24th of June 2022, which is beautiful. It's coming out this year. That means it's coming out in some 20-ish weeks, and I'm very excited. And you've got your cover image. Now, let me just put up this image and the image of 3 houses together. What do you see? You see the house leaders, and you see their weapons in both instances. Yes, I know, it's very simple, isn't it? Yeah, okay, right, so, oh boy, we have the house leaders, and they're looking away from each other, much like they're looking away from each other here. First of all, Claude's right side up, thank you. I never had a problem with upside down Claude, but it was, my god, it became an unfunny meme real quick. Anyway, except for when Josija became like upside down Claude, because then Josija made it funny again, and that was awesome. Anyway, thank you Josija for coming back as Claude, you sound great. The weapons, it's the weapons for me. It's the weapons for me. In 3 houses, they're crossing each other, which is an accurate reflection of the fact that the lords go to conflict against each other. Here, in 3 hopes, they're away from each other. Are they actually allied together? Are they allied together? Aren't they? Aren't they? They're looking in different directions as if they're covering each other's backs. And Edelgard, Axivu Conversara, with the crest of Gloucester looking as it should be. Crest of Gloucester. It absolutely does have the crest of Seros on it. Why? The same way that Claude in his official art, his veil knot, has the crest of Gautier. Oh, you thought I wasn't going to mention that? No. No, I'm absolutely mentioning that. Because it's also got the crest of Gautier in the Fire Emblem 3 Houses art book that came with the special edition for that game. Why? 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 And then you've got Dimitri with Aridvar. You know, just hot boy. Hot boy! Then you've got Byleth and Purple Boy. Again, she's wielding a sword, and it's not a steel sword, that's not a silver sword. We've already addressed that. This is either steel or iron, which would make much more sense for why it broke, because they are pieces of shit. And this guy's dual wielding. And then you've got, set up as direct parallels, you've got Sothis and you've got Yaldabaoth. I'm going to call her Yaldabaoth, but she's absolutely the deep-voiced character. She's absolutely the deep-voiced character who's like, the cycle, blah, 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 blah. She's the reason I think that there's a New Game Plus canon. Oh my god, could you imagine though if they make the New Game Plus the canon? But that is, so much that we've unpacked here in this trailer. This is going to be an absolute cow to edit. This is going to be a cow to edit. Editing me, have fun. But that's pretty much everything I've been able to glean from these trailers and everything I've been able to speculate from so far. So I hope you've enjoyed the exhaustive, in-depth look that we've had for Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Coming June 24, 2022, exclusively to Nintendo Switch. Please, Nintendo of America, not America, of Europe, can you get the, well, United Kingdom, can you get the special edition back in stock? Because I would like to see which 5 acrylic figures they would be. Byleth, Edelgard, Claude, Dimitri, and who? Purple Boy, most likely. Character postcard sets, tapestry map of Fodlan. Oh my god, the tapestry map of Fodlan would be sick! Fire Emblem 3 Warriors, 3 Hope. I can't, fucking these titles. Fewth. It's Fewth. 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 It's Fewth. The same way that it's Feth for 3 Houses, it's Fewth. We are the lesser amount but Shakespearean. We are not few, we are Fewth. And an art book. An art book. I love my art book so much. Yes. But that is going to do it for this analysis. So I hope you've enjoyed. Take care of yourselves. Look after each other, love each other, and let me know your theories, because I'm interested to hear that as well. So, I will see you guys next time. Catch you guys later. I'm going to go take a long drink of water, because I am dying. Goodbye.